Welcome back to the Datarekha audio guide. I'm Diya.
And I'm Arjun. Today, the closest thing in agent design to telling a model now go proofread yourself. And the surprising reason it actually works.
It has a fancier name now too, right? People used to just call it reflection.
Right? Anthropic calls it the evaluator-optimizer pattern. The blog posts still say reflection. Same thing. You generate a draft, ask a model to evaluate it, then ask the model to revise based on that evaluation. The whole loop fits in 3 calls.
So here's my immediate suspicion. It's the same model, same weights on the same problem. How does asking it twice make it any smarter the second time?
It doesn't get smarter. And that's the beautiful part. It works because models are much better at recognizing errors than avoiding them. The first pass is the model trying to be right. The evaluation pass is the model wearing a different hat, reading the draft as input rather than producing it. And that second look catches things the draft sailed straight past.
Wait, unpack that. Why is reading your own draft fundamentally different from writing it?
Because a model predicts one token at a time. Once a draft starts heading somewhere weak, the model commits and keeps generating text that's consistent, but consistently wrong. A critique prompt hands it a clean slate. It's no longer trapped by what it already wrote. It can see the flaw because it's not mid-sentence defending it.
So the trick isn't intelligence, it's escaping its own momentum. There's a second lever too, isn't there? How you word the critic?
Huge lever. You give the critic different framing. Be picky, find errors, list at least 3 problems. That framing alone shifts the model's whole response distribution toward criticism instead of confirmation. A model asked, "Is this good?" will mostly tell you it's fine. A model told list 3 problems goes hunting.
Now a practical fork. Should the writer and the critic be the same model or 2 different ones?
Default to same model, different prompts. Cheapest, simplest, one provider. And it works for writing polish, code style. Most cases. You only move to a different evaluator when your evils say critique quality is the bottleneck. A stronger evaluator for domains where judging is genuinely harder than doing. Formal proofs, security reviews, compliance. Or a cheaper, faster evaluator if you're iterating many times and want to save money.
And the risk with that cheap evaluator is obvious. A weaker judge might miss the very same flaws the writer missed.
Exactly that. A weak critic and a weak draft share blind spots. So you don't reach for 2 models on a hunch. You reach for it when the data points at the critique as the weak link, not the draft.
There's also a cheaper way to wire the whole thing, you said. Collapse it into one call?
Single shot. You ask the model in one prompt to produce all 3 parts with clear delimiters. A draft section, a critique section, a final section. One API call, much cheaper. The catch. The model sometimes phones in the critique because it knows it's about to revise anyway, so it doesn't take the criticism seriously. On hard tasks, you'll see worse quality than the honest 2-call version.
So single shot when latency matters and the task is moderate. The full pipeline when quality is the thing you're actually fighting for.
Precisely the trade.
Now you hinted there's a cousin that often just beats reflection outright. What's that?
Self-consistency. And it's gorgeous. When the task has one right answer. Math. Multiple choice. Structured extraction. You don't critique anything. You sample the same prompt several times at a non-zero temperature, pull the answer out of each, and take the majority vote. On math benchmarks, 5 samples with majority voting often beats reflection-style revision at lower total cost.
Wisdom of its own crowd, basically, but that only works when there's a discrete answer to vote on.
That's the boundary exactly. For open-ended writing, there's nothing to majority vote. So reflection is the right tool. For a discrete answer per field, voting usually wins on both cost and accuracy.
What about real shipped systems? Do the coding agents just leave reflection running all the time?
No. And this is the key production move. In systems like Claude Code or Cursor, reflection is increasingly on demand. The agent runs without it by default. then fires a critique and revise cycle only when an external signal trips. Tests fail, the linter complains, the user clicks try again. Always-on reflection is too expensive for interactive work. Conditional reflection gets you most of the win at a fraction of the cost.
And here's the part one thing people get badly wrong. Reflection can actively make things worse, can't it?
It absolutely can. And it bites hardest on factual answers. An overeager critic finds a problem that isn't there, and the revision rewrites correct content into wrong content. The original was right. The critic invents a flaw. The revision fixes a non-problem. It does not guarantee correctness, and it will never fix a hallucinated fact. That needs a tool, a real search or database. Don't confuse the two.
Which gives me the one discipline that ties it all together. Test it against a baseline.
That's the whole rule. Always A polar B reflection against a no-reflection version on your own evils. If it doesn't move the score, don't ship it. Recognizing errors is easier than avoiding them, but only if your critic is sharp and your task is hard enough to need it.
Generate, critique, revise. But prove it earns its tokens. That's the Datarekha audio guide. See you in the next one.